What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my review of Raw and SmackDown Live. Now, a couple of announcements before we get started. First things first, I do want to say rest in peace to a legend and WWE Hall of Famer, Bruno Sammartino. Concerns and condolences to his family. I know that he was a huge icon for the pro wrestling industry, and he was a real pioneer. I know he sold out Madison Square Garden, I believe, quite a few times. I don't remember the exact number, but I know he did. And he was an absolute pioneer, like I mentioned. I unfortunately never had the good fortune to watch him perform in the ring and do his stuff. But from what I've heard, he was an absolutely magnificent performer, and he truly a big loss for the wrestling industry. So rest in peace, Bruno Sammartino, you will be missed. Another thing I do want to mention, I will not be reviewing the Greatest Royal Rumble pay-per-view happening this Friday because, first of all, my priority is right now Avengers Infinity War. I do want to watch that. I'm a little bit more concerned about that. Well, not concerned, more so I kind of just want to watch that more, and I'm honestly not that interested in this one because it's basically a house show that we're watching on the WWE Network, and I don't see any point in it. It's not really canon to the storyline per se. I mean, they're kind of trying to do it, but I feel like it's really slowed down the progression of both shows, as we will find out today. But other than that, that's kind of all I have to say. Oh yeah, I have my first vlog coming out this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our review of Raw and SmackDown, starting with Monday Night Raw. So, Raw does begin with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. It's good stuff. Obviously, Paul Heyman's phenomenal on the mic. He's a master. Paul Heyman cuts a promo saying that Brock Lesnar is going to send Roman Reigns from Saudi Arabia back to the U.S. in boxes, or he's going to send him back in pieces or something like that. Out comes Roman Reigns, and he gets a lot of cheers. Now, a conspiracy theory surrounding this whole thing, so let's get our tinfoil hats on. The conspiracy is that WWE has been hiring plants on this show as a last-ditch effort to get Roman Reigns over before Greatest Royal Rumble. I don't know how true this is, but I'm not going to be surprised if it is true because, WWE have done just about everything they can to get Roman over. So, like I said, I don't put it past them if they do that. Roman Reigns does come out. He cuts an extremely short promo. Again, the less he talks, the more effective he is. So he cuts a very short promo basically saying, I don't know how I'm going to get back to the U.S., but I am walking away with that title. So probably the best promo that Roman has cut since WrestleMania, which is not saying much. Stop booking him as this whiny little bitch, excuse my language, and start booking him as the Samoan badass that he's supposed to be. We now have our first match of the night, and that is Bobby Roode versus Elias. And Elias doesn't even get to, do his whole WWE stands for Walk with Elias shtick when Bobby Roode does interrupt him when he just says, hello, I am Elias. They have a pretty good match, pretty fun match, but it does end when Bobby Roode does get hit with the drift away by Elias, and Elias does win this match. So what exactly are we doing with Bobby Roode now? Are we going to turn him heel sometime soon, WWE? Let's please turn the man heel. I don't care if you don't turn Roman Reigns heel, but turn Bobby Roode heel. He's way more effective as one, so please do that. Up next, Woken, Matt Hardy, and Bray Wyatt versus the Ascension. Basically, this is a pretty short match. It is the Ascension, so they get buried pretty quickly. And now we know their position in the card. Woken, Matt, and Bray have some momentum now leading into Greatest Royal Rumble, which, spoiler alert, they're probably going to win because, Sheamus and Cesaro are on SmackDown now. See, again, another reason why I don't care about this pay-per-view is because, a lot of superstars have gone to SmackDown, so we know that some of them, who's going to win, who's not going to win. We now have Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre taking on Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. Long story short, this is a squash match because They do win when with the combination zigzag and claymore, which still looks awesome. One quick spot before that, Drew McIntyre has Apollo Crews in position for an Alabama slam, but before he hits it, Dolph Ziggler hits a super kick, and then McIntyre with the Alabama slam. After the match, the both of them do cut a promo with Dolph Ziggler, I guess calling them the show, which, okay, fine, saying that Drew McIntyre was the only person who was behind him. Drew McIntyre getting on the mic saying that basically he's not the same guy that he was several years ago when he was in WWE. The entire locker room has gone soft and they're basically fodder for him. You know, cutting a very good promo, good mic work by both Ziggler and McIntyre. I'm really excited for this team. I hope that they reach new heights going forward. Next up, we had Kurt Angle sharing a promo with Chad Gable. Chad Gable has broken up with Shelton Benjamin, and he is a babyface now. They do mention Jason Jordan, saying that he's getting better and is working to get back into the ring. They are, of course, interrupted by my most favorite person in the world, Jinder Mahal, and he says that Chad Gable looks like Nicholas, the former Raw Tag Team Champion Nicholas, and says that it's past his bedtime and makes fun of Chad Gable because he looks like Nicholas. And this leads to a match between the two, which Chad Gable won. So thank you, Chad Gable. You are a favorite wrestler of mine now because you beat the crap out of Jinder Mahal. It was a good match, though. I did enjoy it, not just because Chad Gable beat up Jinder. Gable doing some amazing work. It does end when Jinder does go for the Kalas, and Chad Gable counters it into a pin. That's how the match ends. This was really good. I enjoyed it. More of this, please. Earlier on, actually, we did have the debut of the Kevin and Sami show, kind of a replacement for Miz TV, now that the Miz has gone over to SmackDown. Kevin and Sami, their set consists of pictures of them beating up Shane McMahon. And their first guest on the show is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle comes out. Kevin Owens gives him like a little beach chair type of thing, which I thought was funny. This promo was gold. I hope they do more of these. I hope that this is not the only episode of the Kevin and Sami show. I hope this becomes like a recurring thing every week, because this was really good, and this was a great replacement for Miz TV. I really enjoy this one. They're, of course, berating Kurt Angle, for stuff like, forgetting Jason Jordan and, putting them in an unfair advantage last week. And of course, Kurt Angle does book a match later on in the night between Kevin and Sami and the team of Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. So we have this match between Braun and Bobby versus Kevin and Sami. Long story short, again, the big guys win. So the big guys win. It's kind of sad to see that Bobby Lashley, a guy who hasn't been in WWE for 10 years and just returned 2 weeks ago, has quickly become an afterthought. That kind of is disappointing because, I like Bobby Lashley. He's a good wrestler, and he has a lot of potential. So I don't know. I hope they have bigger plans for him. Apparently, him and Brock Lesnar is off the table, which makes no sense, because why would you do that? Oh, that's right, because it would be a great match, and WWE doesn't like us to have any fun. The match does end when Braun Strowman gets the hot tag in and basically kills Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and that's how this match ends. We're then supposed to get a match between Baron Corbin and No Way Jose. Jose comes out with his conga line. Baron Corbin comes out and says, I'm not going to have a match with you because your conga line is going to jump me from the back when I'm beating you up. So, no way, Jose, am I having this match. Baron's got jokes. Baron goes to the back, and Jose says just because Baron Corbin doesn't want to join the party doesn't mean it has to stop. So, they start dancing. They continue to dance. And guess what happens? Baron Corbin jumps No Way Jose. We had a segment going on throughout the night. Now that The Miz has gone to SmackDown, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel have no leader, so they go to Seth Rollins and they try to become the new and improved Shield. They put their fists in the middle. Rollins rejects them. They then go to Finn Balor and they try to do the too sweet to Finn Balor. Finn Balor refuses them. This leads to a match between the Miztourage and Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Nothing to report here. A good match. It was a good match. Another tag match. I think this is like the second or third one of the night. No, this is the second tag match of the night. And Seth Rollins and Finn Balor go over. So we'll see what happens with the Miztourage. I'm kind of excited about this. I wonder who their leader is going to be, if they even do get a leader. We then, of course, had Alexa Bliss cutting a really good anti-bullying PSA where she continues to berate Nia Jax for being a bully and continues to fat shame her. This was really good. I don't really want to talk about like what she said. I honestly recommend that you go watch that promo because it is gold. It shows some real good heel work by Alexa Bliss. And this leads into our main event, which is a 10-woman tag team match because, you know, the men had the spotlight last week, so it's time to give the spotlight to the women this week. So we have the team of Alexa Bliss and Mickie James and the Riot Squad taking on Natalya, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ember Moon, and the Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax. This is a really fantastic match. Just about as good as last week's match with the men. By the way, if you notice a pattern, the babyface team on both matches had a champion. Last week it was Seth Rollins. This week it's Nia Jax. I'm just drawing some comparisons there. But the match does end when Natalya injures her right knee after Sarah Logan attacks it. Mickie James takes advantage of this, kicks her out of the ring, and it looks like Natalya is out of commission. Who should make the save but her best friend Ronda Rousey? She comes out and puts Mickie James in an armbar, and Mickie James taps, so I guess it ends in a no contest. It's good to see that maybe there's going to be a program between Mickie James and Ronda Rousey. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Both programs sound really good in my book. So SmackDown Live does begin with the return of The Miz and Miz TV. Miz comes out. He cuts a lengthy promo on Daniel Bryan saying that he doesn't know why he still has that vendetta against him. It's been 2 years, and he thought that maybe having a child would have, changed Daniel Bryan as a person, much like having a baby has changed The Miz, but apparently it hasn't. So he calls Daniel Bryan out to come and punch him in the face like he's been wanting to do for so long. But Daniel Bryan doesn't show. Instead, Big Cass comes out. Big Cass comes and cuts a promo saying that him and Daniel Bryan were both medically cleared on the same day, but the fact that Bryan got medically cleared was overshadowed by the fact that Big Cass was cleared. So that makes him angry because he is a big man and he deserves to be more respected than Daniel Bryan. And, Daniel Bryan is just an average Joe and that he should be taking out his trash and doing his laundry and swiping his kitchen floors. That's kind of the vendetta he's got mainly because Daniel Bryan has overshadowed Big Cass. That's the whole basis of this feud. That's kind of how the segment ends, saying that he wants to end Daniel Bryan at Backlash. I don't really know what to think about this. I think this whole segment was okay. I mean, Miz did talk for way too long. Big Cass, his intentions don't seem very clear at all. We then are getting our first match of the night. Becky Lynch and Asuka teaming up to take on the IICONICS. But before they do, Asuka and Becky Lynch see Daniel Bryan laying beaten up on the floor. Who could that be? I wonder. IICONICS cut another one of their, heelish promos, their narcissistic heelish promos, and Becky Lynch and Asuka interrupt. A damn fine match. And it does end with Becky Lynch getting pinned by Peyton Royce with her feet on the ropes. So again, showing off a lot more of their heelish characteristics and really who they are. And just really getting a lot of heat with the fans, which is great. But at the same time, what does this do for Asuka? I mean, she's lost the streak at WrestleMania, and now she's losing a match here on SmackDown. I don't know why they're feeding Asuka to the IICONICS. Hopefully this changes. We then have a backstage segment with the Usos and Naomi because Jimmy Uso, Naomi's husband, is going to take on Rowan. So she's very scared for Jimmy's life, and that he's going to get hurt, which makes no sense because you two are in the wrestling business and part of your job description is that you're going to get hurt. Jimmy Uso does say, oh, we're going to be fine. They go out and they have the match. And Jimmy Uso is getting murdered for the most part. And then Naomi comes out and does her full entrance and distracts the Bludgeon Brothers. That kind of that distraction allows Jimmy Uso to pin Eric Rowan in this match. And, you know, so kind of giving them some momentum going into the Greatest Royal Rumble. This was an okay match. I don't know why you would make the Bludgeon Brothers lose because they're awesome. But Naomi doing her sexy dancing. I mean, she might as well have just gone up to Rowan and started like touching him. You know, it was so weird and so cringy. I didn't even know what to think of it. We now have what is probably the best segment of the night. Carmella and Charlotte, their contract signing for Backlash for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Renee Young announces Carmella first. She's angry that the champion is being announced first, and it should be the other way around, which, okay, makes sense, but it's still kind of petty. But that is part of Carmella's character, so that's fine. Carmella says that last week she created a video package, and nobody cheered for her, so they're going to play it. So she's going to play it again. So they play it again. She gets booed, and she says, I'm going to keep playing this over and over again until you people get it right. And halfway through the promo package, as it's being played, Charlotte interrupts. She comes down, she signs the contract, and then she pushes the table onto Carmella. And that's how this ends. Typical contract signing segment, but I liked it nonetheless. Shelton Benjamin now is looking for retribution against Jeff Hardy, the U.S. champ. Jeff Hardy comes out. It looks like he's still hurt. His left leg is still hurt from last week. And his music cuts off abruptly. And he kind of knows what's coming. And then Randy Orton kind of does the exact same thing that he did last week, that Jeff Hardy did last week, and just completely ignoring him and go towards the ring. Randy Orton and Shelton Benjamin have a match, and Jeff Hardy is sitting by ringside. The match does end when a masked figure attacks the leg of Jeff Hardy, and it's, of course, revealed to be Sunil Singh. He gets in the ring. He gets an RKO for his troubles. Shelton Benjamin uses the distraction to hit the pay dirt on Randy Orton and win the match. This United States title picture now is looking much, much better. It looks like Randy Orton and Shelton Benjamin and Jeff Hardy are all going to be involved in the title pictures, so I'm excited for this. So apologies once again because I don't have the clip that I originally recorded for this main event match, but we do have the reunited club that is AJ Styles with Gallows and Anderson versus the team of Shinsuke Nakamura with new theme music, which is actually really awesome, teaming up with Rusev Day. First of all, I will say that the club reuniting is absolutely too sweet. And this is a really good match, and it goes on for a little bit, but it does end when Nakamura does pin Carl Anderson. AJ Styles gets in Nakamura's face and starts beating him up, but Nakamura hits the low blow on AJ Styles once again. It's super effective. He tries to go for the Kinshasa on AJ Styles, but Carl Anderson comes in and takes a bullet for AJ Styles, as Corey Graves said. You know, he's got to calm down on the Bullet Club references. This was a good match. I really enjoyed it. Great way to close out the show, giving Nakamura some momentum for Greatest Royal Rumble. Overall, I felt that both shows were holding back a little bit. And I guess after Greatest Royal Rumble is over, we're going to start building towards Backlash. So maybe there'll be some more momentum on both in next week's shows. I think there were still some good things to say about both shows. As far as Raw is concerned, Bobby Roode versus Elias was a good match. The match was really good. We have, of course, Woken Matt and Bray Wyatt continue to impress me. The Sami and Kevin show was fantastic. And, of course, Sami and Kevin taking on Braun versus Bobby Lashley was really good because Braun just got to kill two people, which was fantastic. Always great to see that. And the promo by Alexa Bliss, that was fantastic. Again, go check it out if you haven't yet. As far as SmackDown, I did like the contract signing segment between Carmella and Charlotte. I like the main event of the evening. I like the main event match. The U.S. title picture is actually getting a lot more interesting now. So that is pretty much it for Raw and SmackDown this week. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.